I do tell people an adult bed is not safe for a baby. We have to make it safe and maintain it to be safe. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spoil Your Baby podcast. Today, I'm here with my friend Tiffany, who is one of the queens of bed sharing, co-sleeping, and all things, snuggly sleep related. She has a new book coming out in the near future and tons of resources for parents who are already bed sharing or thinking about bed sharing and looking for support because there's endless questions that parents have. So welcome, Tiffany. So happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
Yeah. I'm so happy that your book is coming out. When I had my little guy, there was some things on bed sharing, but so much more basic than what we have now. And there's, I had my son was premature. That was, a thing. And I did bring him home and was kind of I don't know what to do right now because all I had was James McKenna's one page saying, don't bed share with the preemie.
Yeah.
And then I had, yes. And then I had some other books about how to do it safely or the Safe Sleep 7 or whatever. But there's so much of an art to it that you do in your work that brings it so much further.
I think because we're friends, I know that you co-slept when you were a baby and you have friends and family. You had people who probably showed you some resources or gave you resources or gave you Dr. McKenna's book. You were very blessed in that sense because there were people like me who just had Google in the middle of the night and would type in something like, how do I sleep with my baby in my bed or something like that. And you're going to get the scariest search results when you type in something like that. Or at least you did back in 2018 when I became a mom. And it took me months and months of research and asking all my friends and all my family and getting a lot of pushback and a lot of just do what the AAP says, just put him in a crib, even if he cries, go outside, take a walk, and you don't have to hear him screaming, stuff like that. So I had to really fight through all of that. And it took months until I found a few resources on how to keep him safe in my bed. And so that's why I started CoSleepy, because I'm no parent, we shouldn't expect a mom who's just recovering from birth and her whole world has changed to be Googling or reading a chapter book in the middle of the night. I just wanted to make it easier for her to get that information that she needs. It's just, as you saw with the Safe Sleep 7, there's probably about 7 safety guidelines that you can follow to make it very safe. And I always say that safe bed sharing is not rocket science. It's very common sense stuff. And you can start making changes that night and make your bed so much safer. It's just a matter of finding that information.
Yeah.
And
it's so dangerous what goes on now. And I have to even say, for members of my own family who I thought I had prepared a little bit for bringing a baby home from the hospital. It's scary to me to know that even people with 24/7 access to me slept with their baby on recliners and on couches.
I know. Do you know, as we discussed, because you and I have talked about this, people are so afraid to bring their baby into their bed because of the stigma that they say, oh, the couch is better. The recliner is safer. At least it's not my bed. But it's so much safer and easier to set up your bed to be safe than your recliner.
Yes.
So it's just, we have so much going against us. I feel for every single new mom and dad out there who's just, you're in survival mode in those early days and weeks.
Yeah.
And you're really just doing the best you can.
Completely. And we don't want anyone to be scared or confused. We want them to be as resourced as possible and feeling as safe and supported as possible. We know that has so many effects, right? On everything. Yeah. It's so interesting that piece of psychology there, right? It's because it's out there that bed sharing can be dangerous, or like you could roll on your baby. I feel like that's the biggest thing people are scared of. And we'll talk about how to prevent that and ways to make parents feel better about that. Because of that, people are going to the most dangerous place, right? Like that's like the
Exactly.
default. And even like with my family experience, I would be like, they're like, baby can't be put down. They'll only sleep, being held or close to us. I'm like, great. Like, let me tell you how to set up your bed. They're like, no, we're not doing that. And I'm like, okay, when you're ready, I am here, but don't do the recliner, don't do the couch. But it happens. It still happens, right? It's like that powerful, that message, which is not true, right? Like, I do tell people an adult bed is not safe for a baby. We have to make it safe and maintain it to be safe.
Exactly. I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
And you do such a good job of teaching everybody how to do it. So, well, let's go through that. Let's go through that first myth then. I feel like people like myth busting.
Totally.
Tell us about that fear that people have. Like, I'm going to roll onto my baby. What's going to happen?
If you are sleeping in a position called the cuddle curl position, it is physically impossible to roll forward. And so what it looks like is you'll be on your side with your lower arm sort of curled underneath your pillow, like extended out past your head. And that kind of holds you in place there. And then you have your knees, your legs bent in front of you and your knees in front of you, and that holds you there. So you're sort of on your side, locked into place. And if you don't believe me, please hit pause, get down on the floor and try this right now. You cannot lean forward in your sleep, or you can't fall forward onto your baby. Yeah. And this is a position that anthropologists and sleep scientists have observed moms sleeping in all over the world in several different studies. It seems to be an instinctual position. Like no one's ever told them how to do this. It's like, if you're going to sleep next to your baby, are you going to sleep on your back, your stomach, or your side facing the baby? Most moms, almost all the moms, sleep on their side facing the baby. Yeah. And it's believed to be a position that's helped keep us safe and helped our species survive and thrive. And yeah, so I talk about that a lot because that's one important step that is so easy to do. It's just how you position your body around your baby. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, it's called the cuddle curl position.
I love it. Yeah. And you have a guide that people can check out for that.
I do have a guide just on that, how to do it safely, comfortably, and logistically, like feed baby from both sides. Do you switch sides of the bed, or do you switch the baby onto the other side and you sort of stay in the middle? These are the like nitty gritty questions that I couldn't find back in 2018. And that's what I've been trying to do, is like figure out how to make these things easier for parents, because you're not going to want a bed share very long if you're miserable doing it, you know what I mean? Or if your back hurts, and a simple fix would be getting a knee pillow to help with your hip pain, but you don't know that you need a pillow between your knees.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just love sharing all these little tips that are common sense. But again, it's like, if you don't have access, if you don't know where to find this information because your real life friends and family don't do it, or they don't talk about it, how are you going to know?
Yeah,
so we want
completely.
I feel like you and I are on the same page where we want moms to enjoy this season of life. We don't want you just to like get through it. Like, let's enjoy
100%. it. 100%. My favorite thing that helped me with my cuddle curl was like, I had a very sturdy giant latex pillow that was like super long, and I had it like across my whole back to kind of like help
to keep you in place. Yes.
Yeah. That is my secret.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think why we exist in this world doing what we do is because we've lost this art, right? In so many ways, the art of nurturing, the art of spoiling our babies with love and attention and protection has been lost through the past few generations. And, we're bringing it back, right? So we're, instead of like the people in your family who would have modeled this for you, or, friends, things like that, like people are, looking to guides and looking to experts to like help them with those little, it's like, if you make a recipe from a book, it's not going to taste as good as if like your grandmother teaches you how to make the recipe. Right. And
totally.
You're kind of putting those extra things that can't really be communicated so well without that modeling and that personal touch. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But that's what we're
Yeah.
missing in today's world, right? At least in Western countries.
Yes,
It's so
completely.
hard.
Yeah. I love that you said that we want to make make it enjoyable for people, because for babies and moms, both are going to do so much better at growing both of their brains to health if we can support them to enjoy this time as much as possible.
Hmm.
Tell us about your experience with your little ones and bed sharing.
So my first would scream anytime we put him in the bassinet. I think he made it like 20 minutes one time. And my husband and I had never discussed this beforehand or read any books. We kind of like didn't prepare. And so we were completely shocked that he didn't like his bassinet. We
Yeah.
thought it would be this cozy little nest for him, and why wouldn't he love it? So it was like a rude wake up call for us. And
Mm-hmm.
we hadn't researched cry it out or sleep training, didn't know what it was. And so when people were suggesting that to us, it just, for us personally, we just could not imagine doing it. So then
Yeah.
we were like, okay, if we're not going to let him cry it out in his crib, there's only one option. He needs to sleep with us. And that's where he
Mm-hmm.
seemed so happy, because we slept in shifts in the beginning. I think it was like
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours. And so many people, in researching
So
for my
many
book,
people do it.
so many people do. Yes. And so as I'd be watching them sleeping there in the middle of the bed, I'd notice like they don't really move very much. And my husband never leaned forward, like, or even tried to roll over. He was like in a solid position there on his
Mm-hmm.
side. Or when chest sleeping, they did a lot of chest to chest sleeping too. And it helped me to sleep in shifts and to watch and say, like, it's not like my worst nightmare coming true. Like, it's actually a very peaceful, calm time, and there's nothing crazy, no movement happening. And they seem very happy, and they sleep in really long stretches. And my husband told me that whenever the baby would start to stir, I would stir. Like, I would wake up at the same time as him. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
moms report, like you too, probably, that happened.
Yeah.
You're connected. And so all these little things over time, they helped me build my confidence and say, like, I think we're designed to do this. I think there's a reason that it works so well in this way. And when we try the crib or the bassinet, it's just a disaster. I think there's a
Yeah.
reason for that.
Yeah.
So we started bed sharing. We pretty much bed shared from the beginning with him. And then I had my second son 2 years later, and same thing, bed shared. By then I was doing CoSleepy, and I was so excited about it. There's no way. We had sold the bassinet by then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. And then
yeah.
how long did the bed share with you?
So we bought our oldest his own floor bed when he was 4, and we had at that point the house we were renting had a really big not master bed, primary bedroom, and so we put it on the other side, and he would start out the night there. But usually in the middle of the night, he would come over and join us on the. We had like a floor bed, a big king size bed, and so all 4 of us would finish the night there. So he's 6 now, and he has this. It's kind of the same situation here at this house. And there have been some nights where he can stay in his room the whole night, but he just comes over around halfway through. And because we've just set it up to where we have a safe place for him to come, it's no problem for us. So we
Yeah.
don't mind if he joins us. And so that's what you and I have talked about this a lot, like how long to bed share, or is there an optimal age to do it until? And
Mm-hmm.
like, I think that if you're like us, where you enjoy it and you can do it comfortably and it just works and it maximizes sleep for everybody in the
Yeah.
family, then you don't have to stop, even if your kid's in first grade.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
since my son's at school now and I've gotten to know the other parents, I can tell you that a lot of first graders still co-sleep with their parents, at
Yeah.
least for part of the night. Mm-hmm. Most of
Yes.
them are like this. They
Completely.
have a dedicated bed and bedroom, but during the night, they'll come and join their parents.
Yeah.
It's
That's
even at age
exactly where I
6.
am too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we are. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's great.
Completely.
It's beautiful, right? There's
It
nothing wrong with
is.
it. I think
It
people feel
is.
pressure.
It's funny. My son like now like has this thing where he touches our faces, and it's so much. It's too much for both me and my husband. But and my husband's always like, "Oh, he was pawing my face again." He's like, but I just keep telling myself it's gonna stop. Like one day it's gonna stop, and I'm gonna be so sad and just try to like
I know.
soak it all in while
I
it's here.
know. And it could just
Yeah.
happen. Like there have been those nights I wake up in the morning, I'm like, where is he? And he's just asleep in his bed. And I'm like, oh no, was that it? Are we done co-sleeping
Mm-hmm.
forever?
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's so hard. but just try
Yeah.
to enjoy it because it just moves so fast. And this is
Yeah.
like precious extra time you get to spend with your children before they grow up. It's
Yes.
like more minutes and
Completely.
more hours per day.
Completely. And
Yeah.
I feel like the brain connection you make sharing sleep extends to so much of the so far into the relationship as well, in
I
so many
agree.
ways. And I feel like that part would make me sad too, right? Because it's the, the change into like more independence, more personhood, more, all of that independence will come the day when the bed sharing kind of goes down
Mm-hmm.
or stops. Yeah. Yeah, completely. So for parents who are still in those 0 to 3 years, who are thinking of a bed sharing, who are bed sharing, tell us the other ways it can go, right? Because some people might be like, no way, I'm not bed sharing till 6 or,
Oh,
8, or like,
totally.
that is one route, right? You and I share that route. And that's how I grew up was you go to your own bed, you stay there whenever you're ready, right? And that is one way to go. But we can also lead it, right? For other
Yes.
kids too, right? If we want to.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you can do it in a gentle way. What I recommend, I'd love to hear your thoughts after this, but I think it's easier to set up a floor bed in your room and make it more of a gradual transition. Because I
Yeah.
do have some parents who ask if they can just go from bed sharing to having their child in a whole separate bedroom. And I personally think that would be harder, a lot harder on the child.
Yeah.
So if you have the time, I would recommend making a very like gradual process because it is a really big deal for your child, especially if they've been bed sharing since birth or since as far as they can remember. You're their safe space. The family bed is probably, their safe space. What's it called?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. It's like their nest.
their nest. Yeah. It's like their favorite place in the world. They know
It
that when
is.
they're there, they're going to be cozy, safe. They're next to their favorite person, you, and they have half their life has been there maybe, while they're sleeping. So you just have to keep that in mind that there might be some resistance depending on how old your child is and their personality. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
is different, but you, going back to what you said, Greer, yes, you can absolutely lead this if it's something that your family needs and nobody is sleeping, or you've reached some point where it just, maybe you're pregnant and you just feel like it will just be better if your child is still nearby, like in the same room, but they're not on your actual bed. That
Yeah.
makes sense. And so many, by the way, families in that situation, and a lot of them choose to move the child and the other parent to another floor bed in the same room. But they sort of shift so that the other parent is like their primary nighttime caregiver instead of you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you'll be focusing on the new baby when they arrive.
Yes. I
Is
love
that sort
that
of what you?
strategy.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's so many different
Completely.
strategies, so I'm just curious to see what you recommend
Yeah.
because
I mean, I recommend either that or one parent's with the other child in their new place
yes,
for a long period of time, like a month at least, and then starting like with, the child's knowledge and, explaining everything to them, like, we're going to fall asleep here. I'm going to go into my room. But I always will say, having the child be able to come and join you either on the floor bed in your room or in your bed is really important as they develop too, because
mm-hmm.
we have this very strong drive to be close at night when we're vulnerable and it's dark. And I've heard so many stories from people who are totally shut out that have had a very, very negative, long lasting impact on their sleep, their mental health, their life. And, I am definitely, on board with supporting that need for closeness as long as it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's also, some stories I know, which are on the total other end of like parents setting up a fun bedroom for like a 2 or 3 year old. And then the child being like, this is my room now. I'm going to sleep in here. Right. So there's like a huge spectrum of personalities and temperaments for kids. And yeah, we don't know what
Exactly.
we're going to get.
Exactly. Yeah. You just got to try it and make decisions based on how they're acting and your knowledge of them. You know them better than anyone else. So you're the best person to sort of like guide them into this next chapter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here and getting us, warmed up into the world of co-sleeping. For anyone who's already co-sleeping or chest sleeping too. We didn't talk about that. Tiffany's has like the only guide I know of in the world on how to chest sleep safely.
Maybe I could come back and do another one just on chest sleeping.
Yeah, maybe we should do that too, because I'm so passionate about people knowing about it. It's so important for people to know, and it's something that most people just will not touch because it is a little bit understudied, to be honest. But we'll talk about it in the next one. We'll talk about it next time.
Yeah, exactly.
It was something I had to do on many nights with my son. I know a lot of parents, it's something they need to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, same here. Because it wasn't enough for my little boy to be next to me in bed. He wanted to be on my chest. He needed like the full body contact.
Yes.
So yeah, I can't wait. Okay. I want to talk to you about that.
Let's do that next time. And so, yes, if you have a baby or expecting a baby or bed sharing or not bed sharing and you're curious, Tiffany has a wonderful free guide available, and also some other guides that go even deeper to cover the needs. So will you let us know where we can find you for all of this information?
Yeah. Everything's on CoSleepy.com, or you can find me on Instagram. We have a really big community there of parents with babies in their bed. So,
amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Greer. And by the way, I wanted to say that there would be no book if you hadn't read my guides and told me they were really good. Because I'm serious. So thank you, because you validated them, and those are what I took to the publisher and said, let's turn this into a book. So thank you.
Amazing. I'm so passionate about your book coming out as like just massive resource for bed sharing parents. Like nothing like it exists. It doesn't. We have to be so piecemeal right now. Like if you look on my website, I mean, I have a link to your guides, but I also have like 6 or 7 different websites, and you have to just piece it all and figure it out, right?
Exactly. And that's hard for anyone to do, much less like a new mom who's like 7 days postpartum or whatever. You know what I mean? And can barely see straight. So
completely.
So thank you for everything you've done for me.
It's gonna be so
and
great.
You're one of my best friends and my favorite accounts to follow. You're just the best. So thank you.
You too. It's so good to be with you. And we actually got to be in person together.
Yep. Last July.
And maybe again in a month or so.
Anytime you come to California, really, I will drive and I will meet you there. So
I love it. All right. Well, I'll have you back soon. Everyone check out CoSleepy, and we'll say goodbye.
Bye. Thanks, Greer.
Thanks, Tiff.